You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Podcast.
A group of some pretty significant business leaders in Seattle has basically put together a plan for the governor and said, get on some of this stuff right now. What are we talking about? We are talking about Seattle Business Group's 6-point plan urges more strident response from Governor Jay Inslee on the coronavirus. Let's get into it. Before we do, if you're new here, I'm Sean Reynolds. I own Summit Properties Northwest, Reynolds and Kline Appraisal, and I host Seattle Real Estate Podcast. We talk about business stuff. We talk about real estate stuff. Talk about relevant stuff. And this one, talking about what Washington State's governor needs to be getting the let out, needs to be doing some more stuff. What does that look like? Let's jump on in. This is from Seattle Times in Olympia. More resources for coronavirus testing and contact tracing. Need to get that going. I don't know, right? More state aid for struggling businesses and workers. That is the big one. Since we don't have any federal aid going on right now, you need to get some state aid going on there. Getting young children back into school in January, if the public health metrics show it is safe. Those are some of the things. Washington's most powerful business and community leaders are urging Governor Jay Inslee to take such steps and more to better navigate the pandemic. A 6-point plan from the organization Challenge Seattle. They declared support for the governor's latest restrictions intended to curb the spread of the virus, but they also offered a glimpse into what top business leaders think should be done differently or prioritized now. If you've shut small businesses down and haven't given them some kind of lifeline, need to get those businesses a lifeline. That's what I keep talking about. The letter doesn't come from your garden variety community advocacy groups. It's an alliance of the state's top chief executive officers, including, among others, the leaders of Microsoft, Boeing, Nordstrom, Alaska Airlines, REI, Starbucks, and this is a who's who of business leaders, right? Starbucks, Weyerhaeuser, and the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. Christine Gregoire, she's the chief executive officer of Challenge Seattle. You might have heard that name before because she's our former governor. And she also happens to be Washington's previous governor, didn't criticize Inslee's approach and praised his work on responding to the virus. All right, that's because politically kind of need to. We really believe that the governor had to come out and do the kinds of restrictions he's done to address the health issues, said Gregoire in an interview. But we wanted to raise the issues about the tremendous social impacts and economic impacts and how we can go about mitigating those impacts. Well, if you've told a business they have to close, give them some money. Give them some ability to get grants, not a loan, because you don't need to be packing on even more debt. The downswing from the coronavirus, if you're in a business that is not doing business because it's state mandated, guess what? You need some help. You don't need me to tell you that, but you really need some help. And that's some of along the lines of what we're talking about here. We need to respond to the pandemic now with a sense of urgency on both public health and safety, Gregoire added later. Yeah, I think we've kind of proven, all right, Governor Jay Inslee, he's been all over the health aspect. He's done what a lot of people would consider a good job on the health aspect, but at the cost of the economic health of the state. That's what a lot of people are going, whoa, what's going on here? It's one thing to save a couple thousand lives. It's another thing to totally tank a massive economy like the state of Washington. The letter came this week in which Inslee saw perhaps the biggest pushback against his emergency order since the original shutdown in March. The governor on Sunday imposed a sweeping new set of orders that included a halt to indoor dining at restaurants and any indoor gatherings, plus the closure of gyms and movie theaters. Pushback. We're talking about pushback. I am seeing a lot of pushback in the form of it's the week of Thanksgiving and people are just going on about their regular lives. They are not hunkered down in fear at home. Maybe some of them are, but those people have been the whole time during the whole Rona shutdown, right? Now we've got people going out, they're going shopping, they're doing whatever they can to kind of alleviate the boredom, and they are no longer staying home. Stores are filled. Even when I drive by like gas stations and stuff, when they were shut down, not shut down, but when we had the shutdown early in March, This is a way different drill. People are not staying home. And do we really cut down the coronavirus? I don't know. I'm kind of beyond even really caring about that at this point, because people who are susceptible, that are going to have life-threatening situations come from getting the Rona, they should be hunkered down. And people that deal with them should know, all right, you can't expose yourself to a wide variety of people. So keep those connections simple. For everybody else, go about your normal lives as best you can. Yeah, socially distance. Wear your mask inside a store, that kind of whole thing. But life goes on. That's what we're dealing with. Pushback, i.e., life goes on. That's what people are saying here. And if you've shut down businesses, get them some money. That's what needs to go on. All right, so the closing of gyms and movie theaters, that spurred several Democratic lawmakers this week to make a rare public break with the governor. Why is that? Because they've got constituents in their areas that are saying, whoa, we're out of business, and you mandated me to be out of business, and I don't have any CARES money coming through. What am I supposed to do to feed my family? That's an excellent question. Now, the governor has come up with some money, and I think their businesses are going to be able to access this money, but it's not going to be nearly enough. It's not going to be the $2 trillion from the CARES package we had first time round. It's going to be some small amount, and maybe it gets people through a week or two. But this recently stated mandated shutdown is for a month. Restaurants can't do indoor business for a month. Gyms shut down for a month. And you know damn well it's going to be longer than a month. It's going to be into 2021 for sure. So that's what these business leaders are saying is, hey, in addition to doing that stuff, you need to address some of this other stuff as well. The lawmakers, including Senators Rebecca Saldana of Seattle, Mark Mullett of Issaquah, and Joe Wen of White Center, penned a letter urging Inslee to roll back new restrictions on restaurants. All right, I totally agree with that one. All right, so you've got three senators who are saying roll back the restrictions on restaurants. And I totally agree with that, because they can have their restaurants open outside in a tent. Where does this make any sense at all? Where is the data and the science supporting, well, inside where people are warm and they're not shivering is okay, but outside in the heart of winter in Seattle, that's not really where you want to be. And having a big heater, does that help, hurt, or correct the coronavirus? No, but it keeps people from freezing. And guess what people are going to do? They're just not really going to go out and support their local restaurant. In spite of the fact that you can run a restaurant outside on the sidewalk with a covered tent, this makes no sense. Let the restaurants go back to 25% capacity. They can at least get a little bit of money that way. This whole sidewalk thing or outside thing, it's become silly. It's just ridiculous. And it's like, what world are we living in? So these three senators penned a letter urging Inslee to roll back new restrictions on restaurants. Groups like the Association of Washington Businesses have also expressed concern about the new restrictions. By Friday, Inslee, after consulting with lawmakers and others, announced a new, larger relief package to help businesses and workers. And that's what we're going to talk about here a little bit. Friday's $135 million package includes the $50 million in business relief for the governor, originally announced on Sunday, along with his restrictions. So of 135, there's 50 in there that was already there. That money comes from remaining funds on hand from the federal virus aid package approved by Congress this spring, known as the CARES Act. So you still got 50 million sloshing around from the CARES Act. The new package now includes $70 million in grants to help small businesses, up from the original $20 million, as well as loans for businesses. Don't do any loans. Give straight grants. These people don't need to add on debt. They've already taken a massive whack in their business. They're already hurting. Oh, here's a loan. You can add more debt to your structure. Good luck with that. It also includes $20 million in residential rental assistance and $15 million in aid for households affected by the pandemic to help pay utility bills. With about 770,000 people in Seattle alone, and in the state of Washington, over 7 million people, How is $20 million for residential assistance and $15 million in aid for households affected to help pay utility bills? What's that work out to? A very, very small amount. And basically nothing for most people. It's a step in the right direction, but it is not the aid people need at this point in time when their businesses are shut down. Asked about some of the Challenge Seattle's proposals, Inslee in his news conference said he hadn't looked at the letter, hadn't got to it yet, but those measures all sound reasonable because they are. The state is working on improvements to boost the efficiency of contact tracers who reach out to infected people, checking on their close contacts in an effort to stem outbreaks. Are we kind of beyond that now? Do we even care about this stuff anymore? I feel like we don't. We're like, all right, just tell us what the stats are. And if we're willing to risk it, let us go on about our lives and lead our lives. But otherwise, don't beat us over the head with these statistics, because guess what? The Rona's going to be here with us. It just is. It's going to be like the flu. You don't want to get it. Odds are it's not going to kill you. If you're old or if you've got some other pre-existing health condition, yeah, it might kill you. So you probably want to hunker down, stay out of the way. But for the rest of people, I think everybody's kind of just going back to normal. What's the holiday season going to be like? What's the Christmas season going to be like? Are people going to be out shopping? Is it going to be like that? I think it kind of is. I think it's on its way to more of that. For a lot of shopping, people are still going to be like, I'm going to do most of it by Amazon. But I still think people are going to be out and about this holiday season, this Christmas season. Don't want to say the word Christmas because that's going to offend a lot of people. And I'm all about not offending people. I just say stuff, and it's kind of like one of Bill Burr's. He's got a bit where he talks about the old guy from Duck Dynasty. It's like, what did you think that old white guy who sits in a boat honking a sound thing that brings in the vermin that he shuts down, what did you think he was going to have a progressive idea on race relations? No, he's not. And that's where same thing for me. I just kind of say stuff. I say stuff that's in my head. Sometimes you guys agree. Sometimes you guys go, what are you thinking there? But I just say stuff, and I don't mean to offend people, but you're here because you want to hear my opinion on this stuff. More contact tracers, don't really care. All right, that's my opinion. That's what I'm saying here. Yeah, I don't want to see the hospitals get overloaded, but we've kind of been down that whole scare tactic before too, right? Oh, no, the hospital's going to get too many people. They're not going to be able to do their normal stuff. Well, from my standpoint, I don't think most hospitals are doing normal stuff anyway, right? With the exception of like maybe having a baby, that kind of thing. It's all dedicated to the Rona. The Challenge Seattle letter also urges the state to get younger students, like those in K through 5, back in school in January if public health metrics show it is possible. Studies, including by local experts of global renown, have established that it is possible to reopen schools safely, especially for elementary age students. Yeah, but their teachers don't really want to be around those little rodent infested, or Rona infested, not rodent, but rodent is funny. Rona infested students. They just don't want to be around that. Don't want to get the Rona from their kids. This can lay the foundation for even broader work that will need to be addressed the learning loss of our state students, with an emphasis on those disproportionately impacted. Also recommended is more resources to help distribute a vaccine when it becomes available, and better and more public data on coronavirus. Again, I don't think we care. Those of you listening to the Seattle Real Estate Podcast, I don't think you care. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys care about this? No. Because when I do stuff on updating, hey, here's what's going on with the Rona, everybody's like, no. I want to know how many cops have quit. I want to know what's going on with CHOP, what's going on with Chaz. How bad is Seattle getting hammered with the Rona? The political nonsense in Seattle. That's the stuff people want to hear about. They don't really care about contract tracing, number of cases. State of 7 million people, and we got 2,600 people dead. Not a good number. You don't want to have 2,600 people dead by anything, but we have a lot more people dead from that than other stuff than that, for sure, just statistically speaking. So do we shut down the economy based on that? No, I don't think we do. And that's been my stance all along. So I think it's interesting that a bunch of businesses are getting together and they're saying all this wishful stuff. All right, let's do more contact tracing. I don't know why. I mean, there are obvious reasons why, because then you know where you might have gotten it. But bottom line is, I think most people are just kind of doing their own thing. I think a lot of people, this for at least Thanksgiving, are not having the big get-together. That seems to be the theme. But that is more personally representative of people being selfish because they don't want to get the Rona from their family members. You don't know who your family's been around. My family, I mean, one of my kids works at Whole Foods, so he's around people all day long. He's got a mask on, right? He works for Amazon, Whole Foods. My other kid goes into people's houses and appraises them. He goes all over. I've gone to Hawaii recently. I mean, it's not like we are sitting around at home self-isolating. So my whole thing is be around as few people as you can, maybe just for this holiday. I feel like Thanksgiving's kind of a super spreader event, but you guys don't really care about that either. But I think everybody's like, we're just going to do our own thing, whatever that is. And we're not really going to listen to the governor. Nah, we don't really think that what he says really has much to do tied with reality. So here's what we're doing. We're doing our own thing. We're kind of creating our own thing. The governor's restrictions and debate over his approach come as Washington's cases continue to soar. State health officials Friday reported 2,132 new cases, confirmed cases. Are we supposed to be shocked at this? It's like, as well as 16 deaths. We're just kind of used to hearing these numbers, right? And we're just like, all right, put that on the tab. We're going to keep going. Thanksgiving and holiday gatherings could push numbers even higher. Well, guess what? They probably will, because people are going to be around each other. They're going to be giving each other the Rona. That's just how this goes. That's how Thanksgiving in 2020 goes. And then are we all going to be shocked in 2 weeks when the Rona cases just go up? No, it's going to be like, all right, yeah. Kind of saw that one coming. That's happening. In her interview, which came before Inslee's announcement about expanded relief for businesses, Gregoire said the state must not wait on Congress for another virus aid package. Agreed. Congress can't seem to get their act together on the second package, right? States got to step in and do something. She called it extremely frustrating that Congress hasn't taken action since approving the CARES Act in March. Well, they've taken some action. They just haven't really gotten anywhere. Get kind of stonewalled. People are living paycheck to paycheck, or in the case of Washington State and a lot of other states and businesses, not paycheck to paycheck because there's state mandates that their businesses be closed. So people are living paycheck to paycheck, Gregoire said, many of whom must go to work outside the home where they face exposure to the virus. I know a lot of people that are outside. They're doing a lot of stuff. They're around a lot of other people. And none of them have really gotten the Rona. It's been just like random people. Somebody gets at a party or hears about somebody who gets it at a party. Those people test positive. Nobody else gets it. It's weird, right? Just weird. Inslee has repeatedly said as a special session of the legislature isn't necessary to authorize any additional spending or make decisions on the virus until legislators return as scheduled in January. All right, so pretend you're one of these businesses that have been shut down. You got to get through November, second half of November. You got to get through all of December, and then sometime into January. So talking 2.5 months. If you have no income and you spent all your cash reserves in the first coronavirus shutdown, what does that do to your business? Yeah, it forces it into bankruptcy. That's what's going on. So Inslee's sitting there saying, we don't really need a special session. We can all these businesses, they can make it until January. No, they can't. And with the amount of money you're about to hand out, it doesn't really matter. It's not enough. Not gonna do it. That's just how government works. So we do need a pretty big, you either need to let businesses go back to work and reduce capacity so they can at least cover some bills, or you need to give them a massive state-infused injection of capital. That's not going to happen because all the state budgets are low, right? Because from the coronavirus, people haven't been out spending in a consumer society. And the tax basis is down, right? Some Democratic lawmakers who hold strong majorities in the House and the Senate this week continue to dismiss the idea of a special session. Republican Tim Ornsby Representative Tim Ornsby, Democrat from Spokane, and the chief Democratic budget writer in the House earlier this week brushed off the suggestion of one after being asked in a news conference whether Washington should follow the steps of Colorado. Colorado just kind of put together a session and said, we're funding our people. Here's what we're doing. That was bold. Their lawmakers and the governor earlier this week announced a special session to debate economic stimulus amid the pandemic. So that's what they're doing. They're like, all right, if we're going to be shutting things down, got to come up with some other alternatives. And that is where Governor Jay Inslee has been completely absent from helping out local business to this point in time in the state of Washington. Absent, just gone. I find it interesting, but otherwise irrelevant what Colorado is doing, said Ornsby, adding that he felt the distribution of federal CARES dollars by Inslee has been good. I think that each of these state economics has their own unique dynamics. We'll tell that to all the businesses that are out of business permanently. Let them know how they think his distribution of the Federal CARES Act dollars was. House GOP Minority Leader J.T. Wilcox of Yelm said he supported Challenge Seattle's ideas, and he still wants to see a special session, which Republicans have been calling for since May. I think the legislature could help build confidence in the state's virus response, said Wilcox, which we don't care about. If we were part of it, nobody cares. Give the businesses some money. Give the residents some money who are suffering during a shutdown. That's what we're talking about. So my thought on wrapping up is that these business leaders, they hit on a couple of really good things, and that is basically get some money to the businesses that need them, because that's got that trickle-down effect to the people for all the business owners, employees, all the other businesses that rely on these businesses to be in business. Get some money to those people. Yeah, the contact tracing and all that stuff. All right. But people got to be in business. They got to have their livelihoods taken care of first, because otherwise it does not matter. And you got a lot of people out there really struggling right now, trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B when their businesses are effectively shut down. So that's where we are this Thanksgiving holiday season. That's it for me on this one. So yeah, I think the points that are pointed out here, they're good points, and a couple of them in particular are really good points. Need our governor to kind of take a look more economically at what's going on. The whole health thing, it's going to kind of do its thing, right? I mean, you're going to get a vaccine. We may or may not take it. Some people will take it. I don't know. In the meantime, people got to live. That's the bottom line. All right. So, again, I'm Sean Reynolds from Summit Properties Northwest, Reynolds and Kline Appraisal. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Seattle Podcast. I'll see you guys on the next one. That's it. I'm out of here. Bye for now. Thanks again for being here. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when our next video is out.